Ladies and gentlemen, it is June 11th, 2019. We are here as an American Fork City Council for a regular session. We appreciate you being here. We will begin with 2 points of a public hearing. The first one, if somebody would like to come forward and to make a comment to the mayor's, the city council, key staff on the fiscal year 2019 budget from July 2018 to June 30th, 2019. Please come forward, state your name at the mic. Seeing none, we will move on to the second portion of our public hearing, and that is to receive public comment on the fiscal year 2020 budget from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. Anybody who'd like to come forward at this time, please state your name at the mic. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period and we will move on to our regular session. We will begin tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance, which I will lead, followed by an invocation by Council Member Barnes, after which I will conduct the roll call. If everybody please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, as we meet here this evening to conduct city business, we pause and give thee thanks for the many blessings that we enjoy. We're grateful to live in this wonderful country, to enjoy the blessings, the freedoms, and the opportunities that we enjoy. We enjoy thy blessings on the land for the fruitfulness of the land. We're grateful for the snow and the rain that has been received this past winter and for the good that it will do during the growing season. We're grateful for the freedoms and the opportunities we enjoy to be able to govern our community, to make laws and pass ordinances and make decisions that will help us become a better community. We're grateful for the employees of this city for the wonderful job that they do in serving the citizens who live here. We're grateful for those who serve in our military and pray that they might be blessed along with their families as they serve and help to protect those freedoms. We're grateful for those who put themselves in harm's way to protect us in this community and pray that they might also be blessed. We pray that as we have discussion this night, as decisions are made, that we might be open-minded, that we might listen to the comments of others, to understand the things that they know and feel, that the decisions that might be made will be the best ones possible for our community. We thank thee again for all of our blessings. Pray for the others that thou hast for us, and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. All right, now conduct the roll call. Councilmember Christiansen.
Here.
Councilmember Shelton. Here. Councilmember Barnes.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Okay, item number 2 on our agenda is a 20-minute public comment period. We'd ask anybody that would like to address the city council, the mayor's key staff, they come forward if they would be brief in their remarks, 2 to 3 minutes, and please state your name. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period and move on to the city administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few things to report. Starting on June 12th through the 14th, we have the Utah Firefighters Convention, which is going to be hosted by the City of American Fork. And Chief Brems and his staff have done a great job preparing for this, and it's going to be a fantastic event. One of the events that I think the public would be interested in coming to see is they have a bunch of fire trucks that have had some experience through their day. So they've got a few whiskers, they're a little bit older, been on a few calls, and they're going to do a parade starting at the high school. This is on Thursday night at 6 o'clock. And so if you want to bring your families out to kind of see the fire trucks and that parade, it would be a pretty neat show, I think, to see the different types of old fire trucks. But really proud of our fire crews and our team that was able to pull off this convention, and also to Josh Walker, who helped with the magazine and getting that together. And it's going to be a very successful convention. So, and we appreciate the mayor being willing to take a few minutes to address the firemen across the state and from actually the Intermountain area. So, Steel Days is coming up. It'll be July 12th through the 20th. And I won't go into a lot of that. Probably Councilmember Carroll might have some updates. Don't have anything. But one thing that's going to be interesting is we're looking for a T-shirt design. And so last year the Steel Days group sold some T-shirts, but they want to redo the design, and those design input is due by June 14th. If you want to help design that T-shirt, submit your ideas to the chamber, and they'll incorporate the winning design in the T-shirt for this year. The city has recently participated in an initial branding discovery project looking at the brand of American Fork City. So we've a consultant through JIBE has been meeting with the mayor and council, city staff, and citizens from the community to kind of get feedback on what American Fork's brand is. And so they're preparing that summary, and they'll send that back to the mayor and council to review. As you know, we've had a lot of moisture through the winter, a lot of snow, which brings potential concerns for flooding. We've had a few areas in town towards the lake there that have had extra water, had to use some pumps to make sure that the water didn't get too high. Right now we have about 475 CFS, cubic feet per second, coming out of the canyon. We expect that to probably hit 600 by the weekend. That's going to be probably all we can really handle. Hopefully it doesn't get any higher than that. Ernie John has been sleeping. If you see a tent at the mouth of the canyon, that's Ernie John. It's not someone who's lost. It's actually him, and he just stays there all night trying to pull logs out of the weir and making sure that it doesn't start to back up and cause damage. Also, our own public works crews have been attending the weir over the weekend, spending 24 hours a day up there. Just really want to thank our city crews for paying attention to that. And they're also going up and down the river channel throughout the city to make sure that we don't have any issues in our own channel. And just want to thank our crews for the dedication that they give during this time. The peak is normally the second to third week of June, but with as much snow as we had and kind of how cool the temperatures are, we're expecting that peak to kind of hit us maybe the third or fourth week of June. And so hopefully it just gradually comes into warmer temperatures instead of turning off hot. So we'll be watching that real careful. That's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now move on to council reports. Councilmember Christie Hansen.
We talked before about the Americana Festival that's coming up the end of June from the Timpanogos Arts Foundation. And then the library is starting the summer story time. And something different this year is that there will be meals served at the library because Greenwood School is under construction. And so the people who normally present the food to children 18 and under who want it. Usually they came to Greenwood. They're going to be able to present that at the library. So it's going to be there, I believe, 5 days a week from around lunchtime, like 11 to 1 or something. I'm sorry, I don't have that exact with me, but that's another way the library is being utilized to reach out and serve the public.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you for that report. Councilmember Shelton.
Nothing to report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Barnes.
That thing. Just a couple of things. Parks and Recreation will be meeting tomorrow night. We're trying to get together some ideas for future use of park with the C funds so that some of the parks can be improved. That is an interesting position because just about everybody has an opinion as to what ought to be in a park and what ought to be in the park right next to them and not the one clear across town. So it's one of those situations where you're never going to please everybody, but they're trying their best. They'd like to get the trails updated and stuff. And then just two comments not related to assignments. I think it's exciting that we're going to have all these firefighters in town this week. I think that's going to be a great opportunity to show off our fair city. Clark really expounds much better than I do as far as how great this city is. So I won't say any more than that, other than it's a great city. We've got great firefighters. Last couple of, let's call it a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, I've just had a wonderful opportunity to have some experiences with both firefighters and police, and just reconfirms and re-solidifies how dedicated they are and how blessed we are to have them serve. And then another thing that was not an assignment, I took the opportunity to go to Fork Fest. When I say opportunity, that's totally in quotes. I didn't even listen to stuff that loud when I was a teenager. And it was good, I think. The people there seemed to be enjoying it, so I'm going to say it was good. To me, it was just a lot of loud noise. We have a granddaughter staying with us this summer, and she confirmed to me that it was good, that they were doing a great job. I was going to call some Marissa, and I didn't get a chance to find out, but I think they exceeded what they were hoping to get by almost 50%. It was a pretty good crowd, and what?
Even with April weather.
Even with weather that was pretty cold, and I could hear the fireworks over at my house after it was over. So
That was Cedar Hills, yeah.
was that Cedar?
Yeah.
I was wondering where it was. I can't see the lights, but I could hear the noise, so I didn't think it'd come from Cedar. Anyway, the people there that I saw seemed to be really having a good time at the Fork Fest, and there were a lot of food trucks, and people were lined up getting food, and there were some booths and stuff, and I'm sure they'll give us a report later on, but it really seemed to be a pretty good success, so we'll call that good.
Thank you for that report. Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you. I have just a couple of things related to the chamber to report. The first one is that the summer concert series has started. They've had the first two already, and they have many more to come. Every Monday night at 7 p.m. at the amphitheater. It's such a great location. Every time I go in there and see those concerts, it's shady, beautiful, absolutely stunning. They have it all flowers everywhere. It's very tidy. They had food trucks, and their last Monday when I went, there were quite a few people there. The lower part of the amphitheater was full. So I love seeing the attendance of that. Camden helped me put a little flyer in the newsletter so that people could have that on their fridge for the summer, and they can refer back to it. So thank you to Camden for helping us do that. The other thing was the chamber lunch was last week, and I wanted the council at least to know that our downtown redevelopment consultant went to the chamber lunch, and he conducted a discussion with them, asking them opinions about what they thought about downtown and how it could be improved, and got a lot of feedback from them that way. And I thought it was a really great discussion, and the ability to speak to the business owners in the chamber and have that feedback. And that was my report tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Tater.
Yeah, just a couple of things, Mayor. Oops, got this microphone on. Just a couple of things. After last week's council meeting, I attended the open house of the PD and was able to go through and see all of the different things, be educated on a lot of things and how things go at the police department. Walk through the facility and get a lot of additional information. It was very informative. It was fun. Just comment on how congenial and helpful the staff is. You can tell when someone's putting on an open house if they're trying to be nice, and you can tell if people are genuine and authentic. And I think we have, I think the world of our police department and what's going on down there. Honestly, our public safety in general, but Chief did a great job with that open house, and I thought it was good. There was a lot of people down there when I was there, so it was good. So I appreciated that. I had the opportunity to be at Fox Hollow Golf Course today, and for those of you who are golfers, the course is probably in the best condition that I've ever seen, with all the water, but things like the greens and different things. Just the crew and that has worked so hard up there to make sure things are going well. And the week prior, I was at Cedar Hills for another event for their Cedar Hills Days or whatever they call that. And the water sure has done things good, but you can tell when there's a great grounds crew working. And I know the size of the grounds crew at Fox Hollow, and I'm amazed at how great of a job they do with what they have there. So if you're a golfer, or if you're not and you'd like to be, it's a great time to go up there, particularly at night. The lights are on. We have one of the only lighted driving ranges in Utah County. And you can go up there, hit off natural grass, and it's really an awesome experience. So plug for the golf course there. And then a few council meetings back, we had all of our state champions roll in. And I have a special affiliation with one of those that hadn't happened yet, but has happened since then. My nephew, Jack Christensen, just won the boys' Utah High School Rodeo Association cow cutting championship for the second time in a row. So that's one more for American Fork High School. And I don't know whether the sport is completely sanctioned by American Fork High School, but it is by the High School Rodeo Association. So congratulations to him. Chief did a great job escorting him back into the city with fire engine and that, and he represented our city well, and we're proud of him. And it's been a banner year for those things for our young men and women, and we just appreciate that and the sense of community that brings to all of us. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. For the mayor's report, I would just like to, I'm looking forward to this week with the fire convention. I think we'll learn a lot of new things and meet a lot of new people. My wife and I will be in the right places at the right time, but again, we're looking forward to that. Last night I took the moment to take my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, who have lost their spouses, and we went up to the concert in the park along with my wife, and it was just so enjoyable. And there's just a feeling of community there. In fact, I had to walk, and I saw a friend, and I walked across, and it's hard to get your way back without running into people that you know and just having some really good conversation. I sat next to a lady that is 89 years old. She currently lives in Orem, and they came as a clan, about 5 ladies, and I don't know who drove because they had a hard time walking, but they come. They come to it every week. But she was a graduate from American Fork High School, class of 89. She's 89 now. She is over her class reunion, and she said we graduated with 111, and we have 27 left, and she's over coordinating that class reunion. And so, but it was just a lot of fun talking to her, and she has a deep, abiding love for American Fork, even though she lives currently in Orem. So it's a great place to be Monday nights. So anyway, that is the mayor's report. We'll now move on to the common consent agenda, consisting of 4 items that are before you. Any changes on the minutes, Terlyn?
Barbara had a couple of changes, minor changes to correct some names.
Okay.
And I did have one that Barbara actually pointed out to me. It was on the May 14th that said that I had made a comment about an accident where everyone was injured. And I don't remember exactly if it was, I said no one was injured or, but it definitely wasn't that everyone was injured.
Noting those changes, Mayor, I'd move approval of the common consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Taylor,
Second?
second by Councilmember Shelton. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay. Action items. Item number 1 is ratification of city payments from May 21st, 2019 to June 4th, 2019, and approval of purchase requests over $25,000. Any questions on this, the bills to be paid from the city?
I'd move approval, Mayor.
I have a motion by Councilmember Taylor
Second.
and second by Councilmember Christiansen. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Item number 2 is review and action on the water rights transfer and banking agreement with the Corporation of the Presiding Bishop of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. If there's any questions, I'm sure Scott would come forward.
It's pretty straightforward. I think I move to authorize the city to sign the water banking agreement for water rights with the Corporation of the Presiding Bishop of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Carroll,
Second.
and second by Councilmember Barnes. Any discussion on the motion?
Quick thing to note, I noticed that a few water users have approached me and asked me about the judicial proceedings that are taking place. I guess our city's been, its turn to have its water shareholders claim their use or show their usage of it to the state. So I think it's a good thing that we're looking at water banking agreements and things of that nature to try to help them protect their water rights. So
A lot of questions about those letters.
I was real confused by it too.
Yeah. Okay, I have a motion and a second, and I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Item number 3 is review and action on a resolution indicating the city's intent to adjust the common boundaries with Highland City in the vicinity of Center Street and 1500 North.
I do have a question on this item. The small strip between the two sides of the property lines, how does that then get divided over ownership? Who owns that property? The flag part or whatever, the really skinny part between the two sides of the properties?
They are owned,
Down
the south part, how about that? They are currently owned. Somehow, when the annexations took place, they're the little strips
That's what I
of
was
the county.
wondering. Okay.
But they are owned by indigenous
Okay.
ones.
Okay, that is so weird.
It is.
I move to approve the resolution indicating the city's intent to adjust the common boundary line with Highland City in the vicinity of Center Street and 1500 North, with the condition that the property be divided into 2 parcels and curb, gutter, and sidewalk extend on the west side of Center Street to 1500 North.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Christiansen
I'll second.
and second by Councilmember Taylor. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Item number 4 is review and action on a resolution indicating the city's intent to annex the Aston annexation consisting of 1.46 acres at approximately 830 East and 50 South.
I'm always surprised when I see these little
Yeah.
parcels come in. I move to approve the resolution indicating the city's intent to annex the Aston annexation consisting of 1.46 acres at approximately 830 East, 50 South.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Carroll,
Second.
second by Councilmember Christiansen. Any discussion?
When was, this was a big deal, what, 3 years ago when, on the Shelley property and the Greenwood property, when this started to roll? And this is not the last piece, is it? In that 50 South block? There's a couple more.
The front one right next to that, part of it was annexed earlier this
Uh-huh.
year, part of it was not.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
It's my neighborhood, so I just wondered.
I have a motion and a second, and I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Item number 5 is a review and action on a resolution approving a land use map amendment located in the area of 1500 South, 31 East, from the resort and residential very low density to the design industrial designation. Any questions for our staff?
I have one if I can find it. Thought I had the page written down, but I'm not finding it. Somewhere in there, it talks about that this is not actually annexed into the city yet.
No, this is. They're talking about properties to the east that are not in the city. That's where that came from. So all of this is in the
This,
city.
this particular piece is.
So I
Okay.
wrote it that same way as well. I just thought that was interesting. It said that he didn't want to come into the city until he tore down his hay barn.
Yeah, because there was a comment about the hay barn.
That's another property.
That's a separate property,
Okay.
and that is in the county.
And that's not part of this.
That's not.
I was just confused why they were talking, I guess, then in that case, two different pieces
I
of
think it's
property.
because it's the same landowner, but the majority is in the city. There's some that's left in the county that was never annexed.
Okay. That makes a little more sense. I couldn't see us annexing something that wasn't, or zoning something that wasn't annexed, so thank you.
All right.
Adam, just on this, it looked like there was some questions with the planning commission, that a couple comments about, hey, let's try to clean it up down there so we don't keep having these come back. I know we've done a lot down there, as we've kind of seen, a lot with the TOD for sure, and then maybe some trickling effects and different land uses. Do we see that kind of solidifying down there as to what we see that
So-
happening?
The planning commission basically drew a line in the sand and said they're not willing to go past, I believe it's 100 east or west. It's that Boat Harbor Road.
Okay.
So they could see these types of uses, but that's the line they drew in the sand, and they basically said if we get anything coming in west of that, they weren't willing to hear that, but they were willing to move to that line. That's basically their line.
So do we still see that marina resort zone still having effect, or is that not really something we're seeing?
Well,
really take
you're
effect
seeing
on
the
there?
marina and the resort south of 1500 South, and so this is a section north of that.
Sure, but part of it's getting rezoned, right? That was marina.
Yeah, it was residential, then they asked for marina, now they're asking for PI1.
Right.
So
So the only thing I'm wondering about, do we see that resort going out altogether down the road? Like,
that would be up to the property owners. If they want to request something else, the marina zone allows some commercial uses that wouldn't be allowed in the PI1, and so on that corner would probably make sense.
okay. And then the land to the west, trying to get my direction, that'd be east, sorry.
Mhm.
Do we see that all going? I'm just trying to see it to envision in my mind down there, because right now it looks like it's just gonna be a pocket of industrial surrounded by residential.
So the properties to the east are not in the city yet. And
Okay.
so, but when they annex in, they would likely come in under that PI1 because it's south of Vineyard. You've got PI1 to the east, you've got PI1 to the south, Marina to the south, and so
Yeah, and I
it
noticed
makes
the
sense to come in that way.
comments where this wasn't city initiated, but would it still make sense to pull that in with this, to make that all one?
It could be a separate
Could do an
application
area.
that could probably be city initiated, but again, as the properties as they want to develop and come in, that would be the likely zone if this moves forward.
Okay.
So,
You mentioned Vineyard. That was another question I had for the Vineyard connector. excuse me, there are people making assumptions and decisions and design things based on that corridor. Do we have any liability at all if we approve these things and that corridor does not?
Well, in this area, UDOT already owns parcels in this area, so this area is not in question. It's further to the north and west. So this area
They
is
own it.
fairly
We don't-
solidified.
We assume they're gonna build there, they own it
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
been purchasing properties in this
for
area.
that reason, but,
Yeah.
okay. I just don't wanna get us caught somewhere. Okay.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
Mayor, I'd move to adopt the resolution approving a land use map amendment located in the area of 1500 South, 31 East from the resort and residential very low density to the design industrial designation.
Thank you for that motion. Councilmember Taylor?
Second.
And I have a second by Councilmember Carroll. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen?
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton?
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor?
Aye.
Boy, are we all over the city tonight. We were up on the north side, now we're on the south side, and I think we're going to be on the southeast corner here before you know it. Okay, item number 6 is review and action on an ordinance approving a zone map amendment located in the area of 1500 South 31 East from the M1 Marina and the R1 to 20,000 residential zone to the PI1 planned industrial zone.
I move to adopt the ordinance approving a zone map amendment located in the area of 1500 South 31 East from the M1 Marina and R1 20,000 residential zones to the PI1 planned industrial zone.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Carroll,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Taylor. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen?
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton?
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor?
Aye.
Item number 7 is a review and action on a resolution approving the 2019 general fee schedule. We had a very productive work session, I felt, in regards to this.
Mayor, I'd move to approve the resolution approving the 2019 general fee schedule.
Thank you for that motion, Councilmember Taylor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Barnes.
I
Any
do have-
discussion?
Yes, I do have some discussion on page 57. Sorry, trying to get to that, the library room rentals. It lists the rooms and the price, but it doesn't list, is that per hour, per half day, whatever. I think it should specify.
I believe that should be per hour.
I think
And
it
so,
is.
and so we can put in parentheses there hourly charge.
We should be specific, so anybody
Yeah.
reading this won't think that they can get it for all day for that price.
Good idea. Thank you, Barbara.
And then page 63. It mentions a couple places that we cannot charge a disconnection fee, but a reconnection fee. But down at the bottom of that, we have temporary disconnect fee. And so that doesn't match.
So I don't think we charge a permanent disconnect fee, but we can charge for a temporary disconnect fee when someone leaves for months on end. So we charge a fee to say, okay, we're going to put your account on hold. It probably should be worded differently than temporary disconnect fee. Maybe that should be a suspension,
Yeah, something to make it
account
more
suspension
clear.
fee. We'll make that change.
And then I had a question, 2 lines below that. It shows military discount, active military with deployment papers while deployed. but then my page is cut off. And then it goes into the next page with garbage fees, so there might be something missing there.
I think that's just the military discount, and then below it states the garbage fees, the recycling fees, the water fees, stormwater. It tells you whether or not we can waive those. So I think that's just kind of like a heading, and then the other ones are just underneath it.
So those other ones below it are military
Yes.
discount.
Yeah, just kind of
It
flip
kind of
it, turn
looked
it,
like
and
that,
turn
but I
the
wasn't
paper.
sure.
Yeah.
We'll make sure there's not
The split right
a
there.
split in that title.
I'll tell you, this really does help these military families a lot.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Just-
So,
Maybe that become its own, that become its
Oh,
own section.
whole section.
I mean,
It's still, I think it's still part of that section on utilities, even though it's a discount for utilities. So,
okay. Any other items of clarification? I have a motion and a second, but would you amend your motion to adopt some of Barbara's
Yes,
ideas
though,
with hourly
I would
rates?
amend my motion to adopt the things discussed as well. We wouldn't have any further clarification. We have the library
Right?
rental rate. We have the temporary disconnect fee, who we're going to call a suspension. Were we going to do anything? Was the military clear enough? I think so. So noting those changes.
Okay. All right, I have a motion. Can you second that, Councilmember? Okay, I have a motion and a second, and I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Tater.
Aye.
Item number 8 is a review and action on a resolution setting the certified tax rate for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020. Hot off the press is our new tax rate. Any questions for Kyle?
Thank you for sending that over to us last minute.
Sounds like it came out just this afternoon, really.
Yeah.
Final.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Thank you for being on top of that.
Okay.
I move to approve the resolution accepting the Utah County Auditor's calculated certified tax rate for general operations and tort liability and setting budgeted tax revenue for interest and sinking fund bond at $784,125.
I have a motion by Councilmember Carroll,
Second.
a second by Councilmember Christiansen. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Tater.
Aye.
Item number 9 is a review and action on the award of a contract for the fiscal year 2018-2019 sewer rehabilitation project to
In situ form.
In Situ Form Technologies, LLC. Thank you. This is one of the things I think the city does very well at maintaining our sewer lines. This is incredible technology that wasn't available years ago.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the bid submitted by Instituform Technologies LLC for the construction of the fiscal year 2018-2019 sewer rehabilitation project in the amount of $116,630 and approve the construction contract as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Taylor,
Second.
second by Councilmember Christiansen. Any discussion on the motion?
just real quick, that may be fiscal year 2019-2020, is that right? Or it's all going to get done this year?
Well, they got the funds this year.
Okay,
They're using this year's funding for it.
okay, great. Just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. All right, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll,
Aye.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye. Mayor, not to belabor this, but I wonder, I don't think citizens understand this, but I think they would appreciate it. I don't know if there's, if Instituform or like companies have that slip lining, a video or anything that we could have on the side, or we could put out on social media that says, this is what we do to protect your investment, preserve, dollars, those kind of things. Because it's, number one, it's cool technology. And I know it's video worthy. I know they've got something there that shows what's going on and how that allows us to go in and do that without tearing up streets and bolstering our infrastructure. I just think that would be really good to have something like that.
Talking live footage.
No, no, I'm talking about an example that someone could have. Maybe we could have Aaron, since he's so, yeah. I mean, they've no doubt made a motion graphic that shows what they do.
Yeah.
And maybe we could have Aaron narrate it, because he knows how this stuff happens all the time from his years involved in that.
Yeah. Okay, item number 10 is a review and action on an amended annexation agreement for the Vest annexation at approximately 700 South and 860 East. Okay, we have before us what we would say is the final draft for tonight. Tim, can you just maybe talk us through what we had in the packet, what's before us, and any differences?
Yes, what's in the packet was the original draft, and Mr. Swaney is here from MDP, and they made some minor edits. Really what was reworked is, and then we've gone back and forth throughout the day. So what you have is the final draft, and it's regarding section 10 on the agricultural use. We just wanted to lock down with more specificity the phasing plan, when it will be due, and to make sure that agricultural use complies with that.
Okay. Would the applicant like to clarify anything, state anything?
I don't think that there's much to clarify, but thanks to the original draft of the annexation agreement, we were able to proceed very, very quickly and rapidly with a whole bunch of our work out there, and we've been able to line up some pretty incredible stuff. So I would like to report on that when it's an appropriate time, but this annexation agreement and completing it tonight is a very good step. So thank you, and thank everybody for all of the effort looking at it.
Just out of curiosity, I didn't see this in the council packet originally. I think this is the first time we've actually seen this, is it right here on our desk just before the meeting started. So while I want to help and facilitate that, I have a hard time voting for something I never got a chance to look at or read ahead of time. And knowing that we already got 2 lawsuits pending against us because of annexation agreements in the past, I would just like the time to review that. I hate to hold it up, but I don't know. It'd be nice to, so I never even got the red line copy or none of that to take a look and see.
Maybe perhaps just one thing to mention quickly is that this is fundamentally the same annexation agreement that was approved a few months ago. The red lines are the only changes, and they're pretty lightweight and mostly form.
I don't even have a red line copy.
Oh, okay.
This isn't red line.
And you can't see that up there.
I mean, it'd be great to see my frustration. If you got a
Yes.
little document in front of you and said, hey, you got 5 minutes to review this, take a vote on it, it wouldn't be ideal.
We have we have red line copies as well, if you'd like to take some time and go through them.
And if the council is amenable, I would be also interested and willing to walk through them. They're pretty lightweight.
I kind of have the same concern. It's a big enough deal that we want to change it. But then we also hear at the same time, it's not a big deal. These are all minor changes, da-da-da-da-da. And it just, I'm sorry, it just confuses me. I can't understand how you can say it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. And these are legal documents that bind you and bind the city in perpetuity, I think, until it's changed. So it's just a little frustrating. I didn't see it in the packet. I looked at the packet. It wasn't there that I saw. And Then we get here and this is on the desk. And as most of these people that are here before know, I'm a very slow reader. This is not something I can read fast.
Yeah.
So.
Have we not had this before, though? We just didn't have the red line version.
That's right.
So we've never seen this.
Not this version.
Right. And then, so what we don't have is this red line version.
Correct.
So we've seen this, we just haven't seen the red line changes.
Well, the clean copy you have is just a clean copy of the red line version.
Right.
The red line.
The version previously, so this is the city's template, but what was necessary here, there's a property where there's a home and there's people living in it. So rather than having that specific parcel deeded for right-of-way to us now, it'll be done on October 16th. So that'll allow the folks there to have time to vacate before the city obtains the right-of-way there. So that was a term that was unique to this annexation agreement. And then, as I mentioned, the agricultural use.
I would be okay just taking a few minutes to look at it. That's just me personally, but
I just hope this doesn't become standard practice. Like, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, is getting something and asked to vote on it just before a meeting. That's the idea behind the council packet. So,
Well, I think we can say it's not standard practice. It's happened before. You say standard, it sounds like it's very
it's becoming
often.
more common.
Yeah.
More recently, it's become more and more common. I understand that we're trying to help facilitate. At the same time, as a council member, I would like to have that information ahead of time.
Yeah.
So
I totally understand. I think standard practice is a little bit over.
We don't want it to become.
Yeah.
Would you like to have me kind of help walk through the red lines that we see?
Well, I would like to know what the difference is between the red and the blue. Is that where two different people made comments? That made
Yes, the
divisions?
red is the vests and the blue is the city.
Okay.
Okay. So at the top, in the first item under recitals, you see that it indicates together with property owners who consent to the agreement. That's because as we went through the process of making the purchase, we didn't end up with just one entity, and we wanted to make sure that we, the applicant, were represented, but also that we obtained the permission from each of the property owners as well. So that's the type of clarification that's in here. And it's all pretty much simple like that, but let's continue. All right, and so this is kind of standard template that the city provided for us, but the sentence is added, applicant affirms that that's MDP, together with property owners who consent to the agreement. So again, it's along that same line of inclusion with us and the property owners in the annexation area.
Change the it to the ADP.
To MDP, that yeah, that.
We're talking about, because there's no reference in
Well, they are the applicant, though.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, keep going.
We wouldn't have any problem with that at all. Okay.
But MDP's the applicant.
that's grammatically incorrect to say applicant hereby affirms that MDP when they are itself the applicant.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay. Moving down, that's just a capitalization. All right. A little bit of change here, and it was the vest attorney. For me, I could have taken this or left it, but he wanted to indicate that the applicant, MDP, acknowledges that it bears the sole burden to pipe and gravity irrigation conveyance, which we consent to. It's not a problem. Okay, and then section 10 here is this agricultural transition question. Most of this was in place already. However, as your attorney indicated, we wanted to add some specificity about the phasing plan. Now, as we do this master plan, one of the things that's required is we provide a phasing plan. It's in city code. It's part of the customary packet that we have to produce. So again, this is just adding some specificity for a customary thing that we agreed to do and we're going to have to do anyway. Okay? All right. All right, there we go. So let's scroll back just a little bit. There we go. I want to read this whole piece. A, continuing farming operations as provided in the phasing plan shall be allowed on each part of the annexation area until such part is changed to a non-ag use, and then the added sentence, or until commencement of development of such part, whichever first occurs. Effectively, most of this has already been moved to a non-ag use because when we made the purchase, the rollback taxes were paid and almost all of the land was taken out of agricultural. And so this is something of a moot point, but the Vest attorney wanted it there because they have a couple of parcels that they're going to continue farming for the short term. Continued irrigation along the same lines following past practices. So the way that they've been doing things, they'll just continue to do things. And down below also to continue following past practices.
Out of curiosity, does it say then, I'm skimming it right now, August 1st, 2019 is the last day that there can be ag uses on that property?
No, that is that the applicant, MDP, will supply the phasing plan by August 1st of this year. And that will specify and outline when we expect each phase of the project to be completed, and that will also show when we expect to see ag uses phased out on the property. And that's really pretty much it.
So was there just an entity change from Steve Young to MDP?
Yeah, so as things evolved, this is Steve Young. We have a couple of different companies and we manage things under different umbrellas. And so one of our other companies is Millennial Development Partners. And so some of that was Artifact Language. The entity that owns the right-of-way and the land is MDP Land. So it's just a clarification as things evolved.
I don't know how the rest of the council feels about this, but I'm gonna try to make a motion, because I feel okay talking about these changes. I would move that we accept the bid submitted by In Situ Form Technologies for the construction of.
That was the last one.
Oh, sorry. Oops. Where is I?
There's no RCA.
Okay, I move that we accept the annexation agreement for the Vest properties. What do you want me to call it? For
The Vest
MDP?
annexation.
For the Vest annexation.
As known with the change that we shoot tonight. Well, yeah.
Well,
this is
the
agreement.
new.
Yeah, this is the agreement, yeah.
Yeah, the new annexation agreement, the revised annexation agreement.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Carroll and a second by Councilmember Taylor. And my apologies, I see these things on paper on my desk. I thought they were in the packet, but we worked it out, I think. I hope we did. Any discussion? Here none, I'll call for a vote. Councilmember Christiansen,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelton,
Aye.
Councilmember Barnes,
I'm really tempted to vote no just because I've voted no on stuff like this in the past. And to be consistent, I think I have to vote no. I'm not opposed to it. I'm opposed to the procedure and the way it was handled. The discussion did help, but I think it's been shown more than once that sometimes later typos and different things are found that change the meaning and stuff. So I apologize for the speech. No.
Councilmember Carroll,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, it's almost 8 o'clock and item number 11. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Taylor. Second by Councilmember Shelton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
I just wanted to say